Tell me where the bomb is. 10 seconds or you're dead.
Interesting. I'm the only one who knows where that nuke is.
Well, then, in that case, I'd say you'd better stop.
Oh my God! Why did you do that?
I didn't do it on purpose. There's like a ton of pollen in here.
Welcome to What the Flick, everybody. We're all here. Ben Mankiewicz, it's Matt Ashby, Alonzo Duralde, Christy Lemire. On the end, Melissa McCarthy is back, and she's back with, what's his name, Paul Fine? Right?
Paul Feig.
Paul Feig. Paul Fine. Paul Fine, I think, my dermatologist. She's back with Paul
He's doing
Feig,
God's work.
Who did, thank you, who did Bridesmaids
And The Heat.
And The Heat, both funny, both good. So this is a coming together that inspired confidence going in.
Yeah, Spy stars Melissa McCarthy as a CIA analyst / kind of controller for a super spy played by Jude Law. He disappears early on in the film. It turns out that most of the covers of the top agents have been blown, so she needs to go undercover on a dangerous mission, and it turns out she's good at it. Let's watch the clip.
When I quit teaching and joined the CIA, I thought I was going to be this amazing spy, and I'm still just the same boring person I was.
You play it too safe.
I just hear my mom's voice. Just blend in, let somebody else win. Making a wave isn't always brave.
Brilliant.
Give up on your dreams, Susan. Just to write that in my lunchbox.
We've intercepted chatter that Raina Boyanov knows where that nuke is. She knows the identity of all our agents. We need someone to find the bomb without being detected, but it can't be any of you. We need someone invisible.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thanks, lunch lady.
I'm serious.
Don't let me down, Cooper.
I will not. I will let you up.
Stop talking. We're giving you a new identity. You will no longer be Susan Cooper. You're Penny Morgan, divorced housewife from Iowa.
It's a confidence builder.
You really think you're ready for the field?
Damn it! Who puts a roof on a scooter? What are you, the Pope?
So those other movies I mentioned, Bridesmaids and The Heat, those were, I thought, really, Bridesmaids sort of exceptional,
Sure.
And The Heat, really solid comedy. But I didn't like Tammy.
No.
Although it made a lot of money, Tammy did.
Yeah.
And she's certainly, you can't help but like, even in Tammy, you can't help but like her.
Well, the weird thing about Tammy, which McCarthy and her husband wrote, is that they seem to ignore what works best for her in other movies. If you look at Bridesmaids, if you look at Heat, and if you look at Spy, she is, you first see her and you think, oh, big, large lady, but she is always the smartest person in the room. She's always super competent at her job. She is
Surprisingly nimble
and capable of violence and not to be screwed with. And that's what's great about her in these Paul Feig movies. And Tammy just made her this sort of lovable loser, and it was like, no.
And Identity Thief made her obnoxious.
And they don't. I don't remember if Tammy did this, but they also do a really great thing, and I presume it to be intentional, is that obviously her size is relevant to the humor, but they never make fun of it.
No.
They never make fun of it. She, like in this movie here, there are terrific scenes where they keep giving her undercover identities, and they're always, they're horrible,
Frumpy,
sort of, middle class,
cat lady, sort of
recently
tourists
divorced,
with cats with horrible wigs.
I look like somebody's homophobic aunt.
Right.
And she looks so sad, and she sells being so sad about it because she's better than that. And so when they get presented to her by Allison Janney, who is kind of one of the secret weapons.
Oh, she's,
She always is.
She just, you see her face fall and you empathize with her. And I think one of the things that Melissa McCarthy does really well in a lot of movies, but this one in particular, is that you identify with her as a character. Like, she's this person that's been passed over and she's ended up doing this job that is really beneath her abilities, and she finally gets the ability to shine, and everyone doubts her, and she kicks all kinds of ass, and she's great. And it's really satisfying in this movie. And there's this great supporting cast that everybody just knocks it out of the park supporting her.
Yeah, the scenes with McCarthy and Rose Byrne are some of the funniest scenes I've seen in ages, and the stuff they say to each other is so appallingly hilarious that you're laughing, but you're going, at the same time because it's just so vicious, but it's great.
Whatever this style of comedy that we're in now, that we've been in, that sort of the Will Ferrell, Judd Apatow type comedy of which this is part of. It's grown it in different directions. I don't know that there's anybody better at it than Rose Byrne. Like she has figured it out. Her timing is fantastic consistently. I mean, Get Him to the Greek, she was so great.
Neighbors.
Neighbors, right. Neighbors, which snuck up on me. I didn't see when it came out. I saw it later, and I was like, this movie's funny. And she's fantastic in it.
But she's not the same person in each one, though.
No,
it's so cool.
and you
it's
guys,
so versatile.
I don't know how many of you guys watched the Glenn Close FX and then DirecTV show Damages, which is not, I don't think there's a funny line in 5 seasons of Damages. It's great. And she is the lawyer and Glenn Close's foil through that, and she's fantastic. And that is serious highbrow drama, and she's fantastic.
Yeah, one thing I love about this movie, it reminded me a lot of all those Edgar Wright movies, like Shaun of the Dead, like Hot Fuzz, where they begin life as a parody of a genre. And it's very funny, and you're laughing along with it because it's very knowing as far as the conventions. And then slowly but surely, very steadily, it becomes a really serious example of that genre. And like, there's an amazing action sequence, a huge fight that Melissa McCarthy has with one of the bad guy women.
Right.
And it reminded me, I'm sorry, in the kitchen. And it was it was like something out of a Bourne movie because they're grabbing pots and pans and knives and whatever they can. It's like, it's sheer survival.
Yeah.
And it's so intense.
Right, and Paul Feig has complained about he wants to shoot a James Bond movie and nobody takes him seriously.
Well, maybe
I think he's proved it here.
Serious action
And Jason Statham, of all people, is funny.
He's really funny.
Totally
He's the second banana in this kind of movie that he would normally anchor.
I think I'm glad you brought that up because Statham is a guy that we know can do silly stuff. We've seen him tilt towards comedy and have good comic timing, but he's always this relatively staid, straight character. Even in something like Crank, where he's over the top, but he's playing a guy who takes himself seriously. Here, he's so over the top and goes so broad, and it works, and it's awesome.
And he's laughing at himself.
And he's laughing at himself, and that's great to see.
He manages to, it's a character that is spoofing his movie image while still finding room enough to be grounded as a character in that movie. Like, it's not just a spoof.
Right. Every time he starts talking about his history and like his qualifications, the things that he's done, and she starts saying stuff like, I don't think that's even possible. It's awesome.
To go back real quick to and maybe I'm reading too much into it and I don't want to cross a line here, but I think that I think it's great that we get to see Melissa McCarthy react to being put in these unfeminine situations the same way that Rose Byrne would have reacted if she'd played the spy, and that they managed to embrace her body type without ever making fun of it, like making it part of the comedy because they know, look, this is funny that this woman is beating up this person and driving on a scooter, right? There's obviously that's part of the humor, but at no point are you supposed to point at her. And I think that's hard to do, but we never do, and I think it's great, and I think it's progress.
This ties in with something you've talked about before. It can be very satisfying to see someone who's good at their job.
That's right. Oh, I love seeing people good at jobs.
Melissa McCarthy is good at her job in this, and as much as she gets all this crap about everything else going on around her, and nobody expects her to be good, she is good, and that makes that funny because she subverts everyone's expectations.
That's right.
And she'll change her persona when she needs to. We see her be mild-mannered, and then once she realizes like she's got to deal with Rose Byrne's character a different way, the gloves come off, and that gets really funny, and we see a different side of her from that character, and it's great. And she sells it. And we've got this great cast. We keep talking about the supporting cast. Jude Law is really good in this.
Yeah,
I think
he plays the
actual spy.
The actual Bond.
Right,
the actual
he's the
sophisticated,
Bond type
charming
character. Bond. Yeah, Allison Janney.
Who's the British comedian?
She was great. They have a lovely camaraderie and a great friendship. She's very very funny.
Peter Serafinowicz is really funny in this. Bobby Cannavale is good. Yeah, this is a great cast and a really fun movie and a must-see.
It's an interesting week when you have Melissa McCarthy and Lynn Shay in Insidious 3 playing these like kick-ass heroines, and they are totally unorthodox as far as what they look like, how they carry themselves, and they are the best parts of 2 big movies coming out.
And even
this week,
that Morena Baccarin from Homeland.
Right. Oh yeah. Pops up in a couple of scenes.
And she's even good, like as the sort of
she's on Gotham now.
I'm sorry, Morena Baccarin from Firefly. Come on.
And Gotham, she's all over the place.
Okay, so what are your numbers then, Ben? What's your number?
I think I did 8.2.
You did do 8.2.
8.
I'm also an 8.2.
I'm 8, so our average is an 8.1.
94% on the tomato meter.
It's funny. It's good. It's funny. It's grown up.
It's the movie to see this week.
That's right. Yeah.
Bye.